Hey guys, Greg here, Bone Tactical. Today we're going to talk power inverters, power generators. They're basically high-tech battery backup, power backup systems, or just a battery with circuitry that allows you to control the charge and is a portable power supply, basically. But I'm going to tell you what nobody's telling you today, all right? Definitely going to want to stay tuned for this video because all of these these companies are working with YouTubers. They're, putting their content out there. They're getting people to promote their stuff. But I'm going to talk about what nobody else is talking about, and that's really the downside of these. I'm also going to tell you pretty much the only thing that they're good for, and I'm going to show you an absolutely necessary way to use them. So we're going to do a compare and contrast between some of the best ones on the market. I'm going to tell you what they're good for, what they're not good for, which is really the sticking point here. And then I'm going to tell you some ways to use them so they don't get ruined. All right. And some of this stuff I've learned, I guess you could say learned the hard way, like I learned all my lessons. Half of these in the first year of testing are completely destroyed. Half of the batteries on this table no longer work. They were all sent to me to do testing and review on. Because I'm an honest testing and review guy, I'm just going to tell it how it is. These people might not want to work with me anymore. And that's a lot of times if you see somebody sending me something and you only see that brand one time on the channel, it's because it's crap or junk. And the people, when I say that, the companies don't want to work with me anymore. So let's get right into it. What we've got here is an Ecoflow power supply. Okay. This is the Ecoflow Pro, excuse me. This Ecoflow Pro River portable power station was the best that I had. All right, I did a review here on the channel. I used it to power my computer, and I really liked using the Ecoflow Pro, but it fried. It fried on me, okay? One day I was using it, and it just started going wonky. The LED display just started going crazy. So I do remember now because it started going like a high pitch squealing noise. And so I actually took it out and put it way out in the back because, it sounded like a ticking time bomb. And it didn't do anything from there, but I left it out pretty far away from anything just in case it blew up. You never know. These guys with these, whatever they're using for this high power battery technology can occasionally be dangerous. There have been some of these batteries have been known to explode. So the BluEtti, all right, is another one that actually basically a photographer was using this and I was using this. We had offices right next to each other, and these are kind of the two oldest along with the inverter brand. But this one, the first thing that happened was the input area kind of broke and stopped charging. On the inside, a wire pulled loose. So we disassembled it and soldered the connection and started working again. And then it eventually did the same thing that this one did, just kind of blew out. I'm not sure. I'm going to completely disassemble them and inspect really deeply detailed what the actual problem is. But if it's, some sort of a burnt circuit that doesn't show, or a short circuit, or somewhere where power, is not getting through, if it's not the battery, if it's some part of the circuit board or something where there's a burnt out part that you can't visually see without some sort of a testing device, then I might have a problem actually finding out what it is. I'm going to do my best to try and fix them. But for you guys out there, you're not going to want to deal with all that. It's just a pain in the butt, and they're extremely expensive. I'm going to tell you how to prevent that, though. I'm going to tell you most likely why it happened, and I'm going to tell you a decent way to prevent that. I will say that this one still blew up after about a year of use, even using the prevention method that I recommend. So this one I always used. I'll just drop the bomb right here. The secret is using a voltage regulator. But we'll get into that here in a second. I'm going to show you where I'm going to set this new one up. But this one even broke with the voltage regulator, so I don't know. This inverter here is, it works. You can see it's fully charged. But for our needs, it's completely useless, pretty much. Why do I say that? Because you can't charge this one at the same time as using this one. And the only real reason that I like to use these is as a battery backup. They're not really like an end of the world, like survival thing. They might be good to have in your vehicle, possibly if you're going to want to have something charged off-road. So this one, as it's smaller, This, for my needs, is pretty much completely useless, but if I was to leave this in my truck, like an overland expedition vehicle or something like that, charging, so connected to the DC input, charging, and then basically when my car's off, I could be using it to, you know, charge cell phones, all kinds of stuff like that. Vehicle camping or something like that, it might be a good idea. But otherwise, what I like to use these for is, and what the bigger ones, what they're actually really, in my opinion, the only thing that they're actually good for is having a system and a setup. For me, it's camera gear. If you have a computer, something like that, it's very important to protect your sensitive electronics from power surges, okay, from power outages. If it's very important, if you're a YouTuber, if you know, anybody in today's world needs technology and they need access to the internet, anybody who's a professional in today's world. So the biggest advantage to these is having a basically, let's say, a 3-part setup. You have your power coming in to wherever you're at, your home or office. Then you have a voltage regulator, and then your voltage regulator, which is like a surge protector, also a voltage regulator. It keeps voltage spikes from going into the battery is the idea. And then if there's a low voltage, it will, you know, try and maintain that high level. If it's a high voltage, it'll drop it a little bit. So a voltage regulator is the idea to keep it from damaging the battery. And then the battery supply is, in theory, a much more stable power supply to be charging than your computer, or to be giving power to something that's sensitive. Okay, if you're in a third world country, then it's super more important. It all depends on the power grid, but it's really just a great idea anywhere, because no power grid is perfect. You've got a grid and you've got a bunch of different people with a bunch of different needs on a power grid. And so, you know, you're going to have spikes and surges. You're going to have a factory possibly that turns on all their machines, and, you know, maybe they are not properly buffered to where that their massive power demand changing like that doesn't affect the people around them. They should be buffered for that, but they might not be. You know, you never know. Then there's all kinds of different stuff that can happen. These are just a good protection plan. So you want that 3-part system, though. You don't want this just by itself. You want this with some type of surge protector. All right, I basically use 2 different kinds of surge protectors. If you guys want to see the other type of the other brand I use, I'll show it in a different video. This is the APC one. Okay, so basically this, they come in different sizes. The power goes into this. This is a line conditioner or a voltage regulator. Then this connects to my battery backup. Okay, so the battery will be here. All right, this is brand new, so I'm going to be testing this one here on the channel. I'll let you guys know how this one holds up. This is PowDeom. Any of the links are going to be in the description below. So basically, the power will come into the voltage regulator. Line conditioner will try and basically keep your spikes and your outages from affecting the battery. The battery will charge, and then the battery will give off, theoretically, a more stable power to the different items that I'm charging here. It can be, you know, drone batteries that are very sensitive. It could be my computer that's a very expensive laptop. It could be a desktop. It could be any kind of sensitive equipment. It could be a refrigerator. It could be, you know, there's all kinds of sensitive equipment. But if you're a businessman, then you might want your Wi-Fi connected to one of these setups like this. And then you might, because if, you know, anything that happens, you don't have a disconnection in Wi-Fi, anything like that. So that's what these are good for, part of a protection system for your electricity. If you guys, what I'm setting up here is actually my kind of temporary marketing station. So we're going to be doing a lot of videos here in the future, marketing work, stuff like that. This is my tiny home build right here. We're working on my dream shop over there. So all these videos are posting every Wednesday. Check those out if you want to see them. But I'm just taking you through and kind of showing you tips and tricks on little life hacks, okay? This is a great life hack. Having a battery backup, a voltage regulator or line conditioner, and then, you know, protecting your sensitive electronic devices or maintaining your internet connection, stuff like that. Fiber optic internet is what's required for the system to work even in a grid down scenario. So if the power goes out, fiber optic internet along with your system, like we've just discussed here, can actually keep you up and running on Wi-Fi, even if your entire neighborhood or your whole grid is down on power. that's just some cool stuff to remember. Likely that the internet company will have for their servers, they'll have a backup generator or something like that. So that's why that system will work, or one reason why it would probably work. Just reliability, guys. Reliability is the name of the game. Learning and growing and trying to make the world a better place. Thanks for watching. Bone out.